Hello everyone, welcome to the sixth episode of your GKS Besties. In this series, we will be sharing information about different universities and the GKS scholars' journey in their own university. So today also we have a very special guest from Afghanistan and also from Seoul National University that she'll be sharing lots of information. So
Hopefully.
so be with us until the end of this video and let's start. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you introduce yourself for the people who are watching you?
Okay, so my name is Elnaz and I'm from Afghanistan, as Raila told you. And should I say my age too? Or
Yeah, maybe. If not,
Okay.
that doesn't matter.
I'm KGSB from 2017, and I studied computer science and engineering at SNU, and I did 1 year of Korean language at Paige University in Daejeon. And this has been almost 8 years I've been living in Korea, and I'm happy to share any information that can help you and help you.
So you were university track, right?
Yes. No. I was embassy track.
You were embassy track.
Yeah.
So how was the journey of applying from embassy in Afghanistan? I know it's like kind of.
I think it was like pretty easier rather than the other countries when I came to Korea and knowing how many people actually apply and how many tries some of my friends had to like take. Like some of them had to apply 5 times or more because how many people were like in those countries interested. So I don't know specifically how many people were in my time when I applied, but I think like it was pretty okay because it was like the embassy and I was living in Kabul, so it wasn't much of a struggle to just apply for it. And I think I had the upper hand that my high school grades were really high, and I think for Koreans that really matters because one person there, I think she or he, I cannot remember, was Korean and say like, oh my god, how did you like
Have this
has this like high percentage? I think mine was 97 or 98% all my 3 years of high school. So I think that was like one of the things that they were impressed by and maybe like hyped up my application overall through that.
Yeah. But now I think it's much more kind of
Yeah.
harder.
For sure, because maybe back in 2017 not many people were interested.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of the
It was
beginning.
2017, right?
Yeah. So it was like, I think it was it was 2016 when I applied because we came to Korea in February 2017.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was early 2016. So
do you know when the GKS added Afghanistan to the
no.
list?
Because but it was a long time ago because
you know those people who are like from long.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't.
There are people from those like, for example,
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, when I came to Korea, I got to meet people who were already working, so they already graduated from Afghanistan.
Because I haven't seen them, that's why.
Yeah.
So you applied and you came here in 2017
February. Yeah.
And you started your language course.
Yeah.
In which university you said?
Paige, like in Korean we will say Paige Dakyo, but in English they write it like Paige University.
So did you know Korean language beforehand?
No, actually. The only thing I knew at that time were K-dramas of Lee Min-ho. Gudboda Namja. I'm sure everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Boys Over Flowers. So that was where I got interested. Like one of my
Yeah.
friends shares the drama, and I
Yeah.
watched that, and I'm like just
Yeah.
빠졌어. And after I watched that, I just got interested from like school time. And everyone knew at my school that I'm like interested in Korea and the dramas and stuff. But I didn't know K-pop at that time. Even till I entered Korea, I didn't know about the K-pop part much. So yeah, and that was like the time that I got interested. Yeah, so.
So like you didn't know any Korean, then you came here. Was it an easy journey of learning
No,
Korean?
it wasn't. I even saying 안녕하세요 was difficult at that time for me. Like when I came here, some of my friends that were from the same batch that went to the language school, some of them they had like topic 1 at least.
Yeah, they already know a little bit.
Yeah, they already know a little bit, and they were in a way more interested in Korea than me. Like I start to hear about Big Bang and those from my friends. I was like, they were talking. I was saying, "Who is Big Bang?" And they were saying they like K-pop, and I said, "What is K-pop?" So I was like pretty like out of the loop when I entered. But yeah, the language school, like when I started, I didn't know anything, and it was like pretty hard. And at the same time, I thought it's gonna be easy, and I took it easy in the beginning. But then later on, I had to really try study harder to be able to pass topic 3, because that was like one of the requirements for entering the university, especially SNU. So because some of the universities, they would still let you,
because
even if
it's
you
an
wouldn't.
English track. If you got in, is it English?
No, just some of the Korean universities, they didn't have like restrictions. Like they weren't strict about it. So even if you wouldn't pass topic 3, some of them would let you enter. But some of them would say no, go 6 months more. Try to redo it again. So I was like, I actually got topic 3 in the last exam before finishing the languages school, which I think it was just like 10 points over what was for like topic 3. So I didn't do well in languages school, and my Korean was not that good. But I remember one of my teachers there, we used to call her Sunflower. If someone is from Peje, they may know.
They know.
I think she was just proud to have a student that she taught her from zero to actually learning something, that she even asked me to have the last presentation of our class, like our whole batch. I was the only person that gave actually like a note about my life of the languages school in front of all the kids from before or after, like our hubes or sambes. So in Korean, and my Korean wasn't even good. So I had to write that, and my teacher, she edited it, and then I stand and I was like, had to be memorized a bit and read a bit. So that was like interesting. At first I was so scared to do it, but then I asked my teacher, why did you choose me to do it? Because I was saying there are so many other people are better at it, and she said, you're like one of my students that came from zero, and you're like in this level now, and you're also from Afghanistan, because she was saying a lot of her students from Afghanistan didn't do well. So she was saying, I'm just proud, and that's why I want everyone to hear your journey. So at the end, I just kind of like overcome my fear, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I mean, my legs were shaking, but I still did it. I'm kind of happy to do it, but unfortunately I don't have a video of it.
I was like, oh, there should be a video.
I only have like one story on my Instagram, like really shortly, saying like 안녕하세요, Afghanistan 사람 엘나즈라고 합니다. Like that much only. So.
Oh, because like imagine you have that video.
I
and
know.
Now you listen to this like, oh my God, now I'm sick.
Yeah, I think I still have the note. if I search, I can find it. I'm not sure. But I wish I had that video. Because I would want to watch it and see how much of a difference like has been in my Korean speaking.
Oh, that would
and
be a lot.
even
huge.
the like palpyo or like presenting something. So that was like actually more of a talk rather than presenting. But yeah,
that's a good point, guys who are like, if you're coming here and you're like starting from zero, like try when you're like progressing, try to video yourself and like compare.
That's
after
so
a few
true,
months,
yeah.
you'll be like, oh my god,
Even
like I
your
have
writings, save
Yeah.
them, some of them.
Yeah, like you will see like, oh my god, your writing was like so like childish. Now you're like so good. You're
I
talking.
know,
You'll
yeah.
be proud of yourself, like, because
Exactly.
after living here for a while, you will be like, so like you'll have so many other kind of hardships due to the language. But again, like looking back at those videos and like those writings, you'll be like, okay, I started from that.
improved a lot,
I
yeah.
improved a lot, and I'm improving.
So save all of those.
Yeah, save not.
You will thank yourself.
So, how was like, so our language is, I would say, like a bit different from the Korean language, and how was that change? And how was like, do you think Korean is a hard language?
I mean, like we do have like a couple of similarities in Persian too.
The
like
sequence?
the sequence,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
being the subject,
Yeah.
the object, and the verb.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that was kind of like better for us, and plus that our language doesn't have gender.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
that we didn't have to
Similar.
learn gender-based type of grammars in Korean. And I think also we do have like a hierarchy in our language, that it's like we say shoma instead of to.
Yeah,
So we do have that too. But I think like just the verbs, like the words and grammars overall were just difficult to catch on them and have like a natural speaking.
Yeah,
I think that was way harder. Or writing, there's just different overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those were like harder for me, like speaking, listening, writing, reading, like to be able to actually do that was hard for me. And even like my speaking wasn't even good till like maybe 2-3 years ago. So I think the listening part really helps with the speaking part.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
definitely was more difficult than English and Persian in a way. I think it's a difficult language, but I think mostly the people who got good at it are the people who got involved in the society a lot.
Yeah.
Like friends, or I don't know, being in a relationship or a workplace, or just being involved in the society and keep hearing the Korean and knowing how they use the grammars for a more natural talking or the tone.
Yeah.
I think those just like adds to how you can like learn the language faster.
Yeah,
which I didn't know, and I was just like really didn't care. So it was like I'm like usually I'm not good at learning language. So that was like another hardship for me overall, to actually learn it naturally. But I think over the time that years passed, I just caught on it through hearing it a lot.
Yeah, being in the society.
Yeah, in the society and like working in more like Korean environment. So that was, I think, my part, because I didn't study after that first year.
I think you will not have time to study after the first year.
I never
literally.
studied Korean after that first year, and I wasn't involved in like having friends or relationships and like with Korean people. So it was like all, I think, from just living here a long time that I could learn even a bit more.
Yeah, just like immersing yourself to the society and like surround yourself with Korean people will make it so much easier with the speaking and like mimicking those. Like, you know, Korean has so much of like I don't know, some intonations that if you mimic, if you see lots of them, you will be easily like your speaking will be like actually like Korean people.
I think those are more important to learn them, and I think that you can gain that through listening a lot.
And also like if you put yourself out there, like those of you that are coming here and you will start like studying here, like doing lots of like student clubs or like whatever that you can meet people will make it so much easier, because like whenever, like each time that you're meeting them, you will learn a new word.
That's
like
true.
you will be like you will just like guess the meaning, but again you're learning a new word, and also that they are like having this short form of words, like most of like they have this short form of the, if the word is long they will make it short. So those things you learn it just by like being and like being in touch with the actual
and
Korean.
they're writing too when they text. It's like so different, so you need to learn the slangs they use too, so you need to be involved, even though it's hard, but sometimes I need to like we need to force ourselves. But maybe like as the newer generations, maybe be more open to foreigners, because in our time like Koreans weren't that open to foreigners, especially in my university. So it was really hard to make friendships and being able to use Korean. But I think as we are going farther, a lot of new generations also try to have foreign friends and get involved. So I think it will be nicer as we go on, and easier to actually get involved and learn the language better.
So the language finished, then you moved from your language course to SNU, Seoul National University, the top university here. How was that transition for you?
It was actually pretty hard in the beginning, because at that time the languages school used to put everyone from different universities to study in the languages school. So when I left to Seoul, there was only one friend from our batch that also left to Seoul with me, and all other my friends went to different cities and universities. So the first time I entered the SNU, I was all alone, not knowing anyone, and it was like really hard for a couple of weeks. Because I'm usually a person that needs to have my bestie and have like a close friend with me, or at least a couple of close friends around me. So that was like the first time in my life for a couple of weeks I didn't have a friend, and it was really hard. But then, thank God, or something happened that like from the same batch 2017, 3 other girls were also in the same major as mine. So like I got to know them through knowing that they are also from the same year of KGSP, and then we became friends, and I think from then it was like a bit easier. But yeah, I mean this part, not the studying part. That
is really important when you have like a person that you can take classes with, or not all classes, but like few of your classes you will have someone to just go to the class.
Definitely. I mean, like we didn't always get along with everyone. Like everyone has different personalities, and it's always hard, but it's always better to have someone.
Exactly.
So I think if like some of those friends weren't at the time with me, it would be even harder to actually survive that situation, and especially because the engineering department's like at the top of the mountain, and it's just so depressing to be there alone by yourself, only listening to classes that like with these Koreans that are just nerds, and it's just like
and also
hard.
Koreans in Seoul National University, they are like the nerdiest of all like, the cities.
They graduated high school like the first in the whole country, so it's just like
being top for the whole 3 years of your high school, middle school, and also like it is like if you go to Seoul National University and ask like out of 3, there's always like I think 2 of them will be like,
definitely
I'm the top of like this, I got this. certificates from
Definitely.
this award from there. So
And then
yeah.
a lot of like basic major classes, they have already like done them in their high school time. So for example, logic design or those things, they have already knew it. I mean, of course, I also knew it because of my background being always into computer science and technology, but it's just the level was different, the way they know
Yeah.
than me. So that part was like not nice. It was just like also in SNU we had like the situation. It was really hard to get close with Koreans there. First of all, they are so nerdy and introverts themselves, and also they didn't really um, count us as them.
Yeah.
So it was like I have like this story even one time that we were like four foreigners in four girls, the foreigners in the class, and we had this four other girls, Koreans in the class, like the same year, like 2018. We were like the batch of 2018. And I tried a lot to become friends with the like our group of girls, like
Yeah,
me
yeah,
and my
yeah.
other friends. We tried a lot to get close, but then there were like a couple of situations that just were like cold water on my head type of
Yeah.
situations that like I heard from other hubes that they heard that in our batch 2018 there was only four girls, and that's because they were the only four Korean girls and they counted them as their batch. So they totally eliminated that there were four other girls in their batch that were foreigners.
Wow.
So when I heard that from my hubas, that I was trying to actually make friends with the hubas too, they were
Oh
Koreans.
my god.
So I was like, so who told you that? We were eight girls in the batch 2018, and say he was like kind of getting scared that, oh my god, did I tell something I wasn't supposed to say? And I say, yes, you did, because that was wrong. And then from there, slowly, I got to notice that they just couldn't like make sense
Yeah.
for them. So I kind of stopped from maybe the second year or something to make friends, like friendships there. And I tried to make friendships with my foreigner friends more.
Yeah.
And that's
One
has
thing.
just a stick to me till now, that I have more foreigner friends than Korean friends overall.
Yeah, just finding your own community.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not trying so hard to find like actual
True.
specific
Yeah.
nationality friends. So yeah, for me, I would say like you had those other three friends.
Yeah.
But for me, I was in computer science engineering with another. There was another guy from, I don't know from which country it was. It was one of these neighboring countries for us. We didn't get along well,
Oh.
and also I really tried to get like closer to him, but he was also so nerdy, like in a sense.
Yeah, being an introvert.
Yeah, and also so
doesn't-
introvert. Like he wanted his own place. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
we
that's
we were the same major, the same GKS. We
Yeah.
had the same language course, but we didn't hang out
Oh.
a lot at all. So yeah, and he also gave up the scholarship after like a
Oh.
year or
I
a
see.
semester. So yeah, that was the only foreigner, or like not a friend, I should say, like a person I
that's
knew.
even harder.
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
And all of the classes was just like me going
Oh.
all by myself.
Yeah. No, that's
But yeah,
hard.
like having some friends, and also I also tried a lot to find like Korean friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have fun. Don't
Yeah.
pressure.
But I mean, always try. It's always good to have foreigner friends. They will help you a lot with like, because they know better. They have more sambets than us to lead them through like courses or exams or anything like that. But don't get too disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But also don't
exactly.
give up. Like, you can always try. And as your Korean gets better, it will be easier. But in the beginning, because my Korean wasn't also good, like my friends Korean, they were better. So for me it was even more struggle to actually like use Korean to communicate. So that was like I kind of give up in the middle, but
Yeah,
there's always chances. So
yeah, you will find Korean
Yeah.
friends like in maybe not in your major because in
maybe
science and
maybe
engineering it's kind of
engineering is
hard.
always like hard. Even if they're foreigners,
Yeah.
it can be hard sometimes to find friends.
Yeah, exactly. But you will find so many Korean friends from
Yeah.
other majors that you, if you be active,
True.
yeah, that is important. If you be
Mhm.
active, you will find friends. So, how was the academics starting in Korea? You're doing computer science and engineering.
Yeah.
How was that?
I have like a really funny, like not funny, somewhat sad story of that. That like first of all, it was pretty hard for me the beginning part, and like in our country, we usually study math and physics or anything in our language, like in Dari.
Yeah.
So we don't really learn the names in English. And like from the time I decided to come here and everything happened so fast, I didn't even had many times to actually like review my knowledge or try to like search for the words in English in different like classes. So I had this first class in physics. It was like one of mandatory classes that we had to take, and the professor is talking about velocity, like
Oh, the
distance
academic
over
words.
time and everything. And I'm like just looking. I was saying, wait a second. Like my physics wasn't that bad back home.
Yeah.
What is velocity? What is this thing he's talking about? And then like I go home and I put velocity and all of those, and I say, oh my god, it's like surat, as we say, like or speed in a way. So that was like really like a wake up call for me that I need to. I mean, we had a lot of classes in English there, but even English wasn't a help for me there because I studied
another
everything
language.
in another language, and that was like pretty much my first semester in SNU. And I was like saying, okay, I really need to catch up with my knowledge and try
Yeah.
to link it up. But it was hard already because imagine you studied everything in another language and it was hard to actually know so many words in another language, even if
Yeah.
it was English. So it took me a while to actually get comfortable or being able to even listen to the classes to learn from them. But I mean, slowly you learn how to study and you learn how to deal with the languages. But it was like one thing good about SNU that most of the classes I took were in English. So I only had to deal with maybe 2-3 courses overall in Korean. And
Also,
even
they have English courses.
yeah, and even like my major like most of the time you do have like English options for the classes, but you always get to have a bit of hard time because only some of the classes are always in Korean. But even though the materials were most of them
In English, yeah,
and
for
the
computer
exam,
science, yeah.
and the exam is in English, so it was okay. But I only had one class in psychology. I took one of these mandatory credits I had to take, and that was fully in Korean. That even the exam was in Korean that we had to write. I think that was like the only class that I had to do exam in Korean, and that was because I didn't have any other options to take, and I was kind of forced to take that class. But pretty much you can like almost 90% skip all the Korean classes there. You just need to be smart about your schedule and just take just manage them that you can take the courses from that are in English in that semester because they switch. For example, if computer programming is in English this semester, it will be Korean next semester. So if you just schedule your classes right, then I pretty much took 90% of my classes in English.
But did you know them? Because like when you're first entering the university, you don't have any
Well, like
idea.
I try to talk with my Sambas a lot. Like,
how did you contacted your Sambas though?
well, like some of the foreigner Sambas we had, they were still studying, so we got to see them through other classes we were taking together. So, oh, like you're Samba, then can you like give me some like advice or something? And Sambas are always like happy to help.
Oh
Like
yeah,
me,
because they have been through.
yeah, we have been through like hard times. So if my Hubas were asking me questions, I would say anytime, just ask me.
Yeah.
And it's always like happy to help when you have been through something, to help
Yeah.
someone that is like going through it now, and to learn from your mistakes if you have done any. So like asking our Sambas, and always, even if you ask, there will be still some mistakes you make along the way.
Yeah.
But don't get like too down about those mistakes, because it will just pass and you will even forget
be
about them.
fine.
Like I don't remember so many mistakes at the school that I've done. So it's not that. You just need to be like really hype yourself up, not to give up early, and keep trying even if it's hard. And I think that's the way to go. But yeah, in SNU I would suggest like two things. Like first, like ask your Sambas. Second, talk to the department a lot, because I was
to the office.
Yeah, I was pretty much, I would say, every semester in the office. Like I would put my schedule together and go to the office and ask them, is this schedule right on track? Are my mandatory classes in the place? Like everything I needed to check, because I did one time, the few first semesters, I took some classes that they weren't necessary for me, and I did that mistake. I was saying, okay, then I need to keep checking.
Yeah.
And we did have like a book that had the explanation of every
book, yeah.
like the how many credits, which credits are mandatory, because you don't only have your major classes to take. There are some other classes you need to take from other departments. So I would suggest always plan your all 4 years, or even, I mean, I did extra years, but so plan them from the beginning.
Yeah,
even if
exactly.
you're not going to follow that, but plan all that semesters, all those 8 semesters from the beginning, and try to see if that makes sense, from the load to the like credits, everything. Do that, and then try to like change them over time. I think that would really help you like plan the whole years there.
Yeah, asking the office.
Oh, that helped me a lot.
Like actually,
and they
ask.
they
Go
were
and
really
ask.
helpful. I actually, even when I graduated, I took a picture with the office, like the people from our office department, because I was just so like thankful to them, because they always were so nice to me, and they always like helped me. And I went there so many times, and they always would like even count my credits to see like if I'm on the right track or not, and that helps me a lot.
But again, aside from you getting help from the office, you need to count your credits by yourself
too. That's for sure.
Because like what happened to me is like they counted. They were like, okay, you did these classes, you're all done, you're set. You need to take this classes, and I'm counting it, and it's less. And I had to take like so much like that general classes that, but they said like you're done with general classes, you don't need to take any more. But I had to take 3 more, because like when I was counting, it was like it was not there was a problem. So you need to be so keen about it, like do your own calculation, and you'll have the handbook, you'll have the whole things in that, like if you're coming for the next year, the 2026, like you will have it. So try to go through it and be, aside the help, be so calculative of your credits, because if you don't do it on time, you might be you need to have like extras. Sometimes you need to pay all by yourself, so that is very risky. So just be so careful about that part. So how, like you already graduated from your university. There are There are people who are considering computer science and engineering in Seoul National University for the upcoming year. Do you recommend computer science engineering there?
I mean, overall, like studying in SNU, and especially in the CSE department, is probably one of the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. Like
Yeah,
it
so
is going to be hard, it is going to be challenging, but I would definitely recommend it now that I have finished, especially if you're going to work in Korea. That is going to help you a lot, being graduated from a Sky University. Like I used to remember that we had this card that you can use it as credit card too, the 학생 yeah. And everywhere I would go and they would see like I'm from SNU and say like, wow, 똑똑하시네요 or something like that. I was like saying, even though I didn't feel that I'm smart enough to be to someone to react that way, but it's still, for this society, for Korea, it's something that you cannot neglect, and better to use it in a way if you can. And yeah, so what was the question?
So do you recommend it?
Oh yeah, and the courses I do like so many professors there. Not that always like professors are gonna be awesome that teach you everything. Of course, you will always need to go and study it yourself, YouTubes and all of those. But the homeworks or the TAs, we had like so many teaching assistants, and they were really helpful all the time. And the assignments you get, they are really thorough and really helpful if you actually put your time to do them. And the overall courses are really good too as well. Like,
so the curriculum at all is good.
Really good in my idea, and the materials you get to study there are also very good. Like when I mean, like I haven't seen many from other universities, but I could always sense that we were doing more work and we had more help from our professors and our classes if we were actually going to use it. And the materials were like, I would feel they were more updated to the time. And for example, we had this class, I cannot remember the specific name right now, but it was like principles and something to software engineering, something like that. And we would be in groups of people and make an app, like a web application. And that there we had to use like all this GitHub or like testing environments, like really an official application with all the new technologies are being used in the companies to do that. So, and like I know some people that haven't like had that in their universities, or having to use the specific technologies that are used in good companies. So because now that I'm like in the company, I can see how they're different. How they're different. So that could be a point for you that will set your standards in the working environment, that the workplace needs to have these standards. And if you're going for an interview or for a job, looking for a job, make it set to whatever you have learned before. For me, even though I did, but I still thought it's just being used in every company type of situation. But then when I entered more, I saw that no, it's not. You need to always check that and make sure it is. But overall, I would like really recommend it. But it's going to be hard, and like the grading systems is going to be hard to compete with the students there. If the course is comparative grading system, it's going to be really hard to get A's in there. And even the courses that are just I don't remember the names, the straight grading system.
Absolute grading.
Yeah. The absolute grading system is also not easy there to actually pass the course. So, but it's still like it's one of #1 university in Korea, so not much to complain about it. But it's difficult. That's for sure.
It's difficult, and also your competitors are the
Yeah.
top in each cities in Korea. So that considering those stuff and not putting an extra pressure because of
True.
you coming here and like being surrounded with these other kids
Yeah.
who are coming as the first place from their own university schools. So if you don't put pressure and work really hard,
Yeah.
that should be fine.
I think that if you choose SNU and specifically CSE department, I would say you really need to kind of like know yourself that you can handle it or not before doing it. Because
Exactly.
if you want to like enjoy university time, for example, joining the 동아리s or like doing networking outside universities or just enjoying life in general during your studying time, it's going to be difficult to do that. Like I do now regret why I didn't join many 동아리s there or did so many things during my study time. But at the same time, I cannot blame myself because the studies were just so difficult. The grading
Exactly.
system was so difficult that I couldn't even find time to actually join the 동아리s. And some of the Koreans there weren't really accepting foreigners to like they weren't open.
Yes.
So it was also hard to actually do that. So at the same time, like you just need to trust yourself that you can do it and then do it. But some of the hubas I know now, that one of him, I actually really admire him. That sometimes I haven't told him yet, but yeah, like I see his stories on Instagram. Like he actually joined some of the labs in our department. So as a bachelor student, you still can also join the labs. And yeah, that would be like one of really good things to do that I couldn't do. And you could even do TA for some classes that I couldn't do it. But like if you're really good, I would suggest to do all of these things, like join a lab as a bachelor student too, and try to do TAing or mentoring or whatever you're able to do it. So because I think university is not always about just studying and getting the degree. It's also about like networking, making connections, and even with your professors, try to like show them that you study hard because later you may need some recommendation. So you need to know some professors too. And just always think of university tool for you to be able to build your future, not only with the degree but also from the people you get to know or from other things that you can learn from the university, not just the lessons like the 동아리s or something like that, which I didn't know and I couldn't use a lot of these things. But at the same time, just the studies were hard for me.
Exactly.
And I was just like busy with the studying most of the time.
Yeah, like science and
Yeah.
engineering, it is so.
Yeah, it is.
It's so packed. Like the
Yeah.
classes are so hard, and if you do it in Korean, it's like another level of hard.
True.
So that's why you might not have that much of time of doing some extracurriculum activities.
Yeah.
Based on your experience, you already see people are like so smart in the computer science and engineering,
Yeah.
like actually the Koreans. So to make the application kind of strong, or also like preparing for this major, what do you think will be helpful for them? Like if they are like in high school or like they
Yeah.
are preparing for next year because they already have time.
Yeah. So for my case, I think what helped me was, first of all, I was back in Afghanistan, as you know, that I was already studying computer science and engineering there too, and it was my second year when I applied. I am sure that was one of the thing actually like boost up my application, that like I'm interested in studying computer science. And second, from the first semester there, I already started working, so I had already almost 2 years of work experience. At the same time I was studying.
You're working in the same kind of environment.
Yeah, I was like a web designer or web manager there in a company in Kabul. So I think my application was like strong in that way, that I had a lot of experience overall for a bachelor time. Like I was applying for bachelor, but I already have work experience and knowledge experience. So I think they just couldn't reject it in a way.
Yeah, that is so important. Like
yeah.
for bachelor,
Yeah,
I mean,
most
that
of the
much-
time people don't have like work experience.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, try to maybe have certificates of courses online. It always helps if they can see if you have done some leaderships or done something in your related major. It always helps for whether it's bachelor or master. Well, master needs it more, but your bachelor, I would say, like your high school last grades, and if you have like certificates or work experience, and if you have actually been learning towards your major, I think if you have these sets, it will be like pretty like easy to get it. But also depends on how many people are applying and how eligible they are
exactly.
comparing to you. So it's not always you get lucky, but sometimes you may. Yeah.
So if they learn like one course online, like few courses maybe
Yeah.
online, maybe in Coursera to have
Yeah.
like the certificate, what would you suggest for them for computer science engineering? Because like I have people who ask me too about this.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know specifically what they will be looking for, but you could just start with simple ones. Like there was this Harvard CS50 ones.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard it.
yeah.
You could maybe have that like
That's
study,
great.
or like some of these Google certificates, or maybe more general when it's for bachelor.
Yeah,
Because
the
you